Hello and welcome to day 45 of Awakening to Ascension. Today marks our halfway mark of this beautiful activation that we are busy doing. And I will be your host today, Janae, and I'm joined with Marlene and Alex. And today's topic is UFOs. I think that it couldn't be more fitting for the halfway mark. All right, so we're going to see where the conversation leads us. It's not necessarily regarding anything that is documented in history or anything like that. This is personal experiences and possibly even just other stories that we've heard from others that we know personally. So I'm going to hand it over to Alex to start, and then he can hand it back to us.
Okay. So UFOs, I mean, they're just exciting, right? Just like the thought of an extraterrestrial coming into Earth and interacting with us. That's just an exciting thing. That's why there were so many science fiction movies. Nowadays, everyone's just tired of of the possibility, or they just don't think it's gonna they don't think it's possible. Whether or not there are any cover-ups, like that's not really what we're gonna talk about tonight. I have actually had several personal experiences with things in the sky that I couldn't explain. One of which, and this was before drones, is when I was 14. It was, I think, 2001 around there, right around there. And it was broad daylight. I was at a park with a bunch of friends and we saw this light. It went up and it looked kind of metallic too. And then it went down and then it went back up to the middle and then side to side. And I wasn't the only one that saw it. We were just like, what could that possibly be? That's definitely not an aircraft that we're aware of, like, 'cause it wasn't a helicopter. And at that time, that was pretty much the only thing relatable it could have possibly been. And then like 20 years passed and I got in contact with one of my old friends and I was like, okay, so that day we saw that in the sky, like, was that real? And she said, yeah, it did exactly the weird stuff that we thought it did. And what blows my mind is like some of these friends, they don't appear to believe their own eyes, right? So it's frustrating that what I saw and what everybody saw, they're telling me that like it wasn't what I thought it was, right? I mean, and what sucks nowadays too is because now even if there wasn't a UFO that came through, no one would believe it, right? Because you've got like holograms, you got AI, you got drones. I mean, unless you see it with your own eyes, because we've been so jaded with all this AI slop, we just don't believe anything. Yeah, Janae.
I love stories. Stories are so relatable, and I think that it just makes people listen. So I'm also going to share a story. Firstly, to relate to Alex, I've always been drawn to the sky. So ever since I was a little girl, I used to look up at the clouds. I used to look up at the stars. I used to make shapes with the clouds. And okay, still now to this day, I can see faces. And I'm not talking cloud faces. I actually see like I see beings in the clouds. And a little while later in my adulthood, closer in my awakening, I've been led to various properties through my awakening, through guidance and intuition. And the properties hold energies, and I'm supposed to be on those specific properties for that period of time because of activations and unfoldings that are occurring. So I was led to this property and I was told, so my downloads come through meditation and it's voices and sensations that I hear. And this download came through and it said to me, you need to go and meditate by a tree with a hole in it. And I thought to myself, okay, that's a bit strange, but cool, I'll let it go. Then the movie Alice in Wonderland was playing, and I was told, watch this movie. Now, she goes down the rabbit hole. And when she goes down a hole in the tree. And I didn't think too much of it. And I thought, okay, well, it's just a coincidence. Then I was having a conversation with the girl who lived on the property as well, because it was a like a farm and there were various cottages. And we were just chatting, and she's very much like-minded. And I was just telling her about this hole in the tree and Alice in Wonderland. And she said to me, "Have you found the tree yet?" So I told her, "I don't think so, but I have an idea of where the tree might be." So she says to me, she's lived on that property her whole life. She says to me, "Janae, come walk with me." So she takes me to the tree, and the tree has a hole in it, okay? Like a proper hole. And she said to me, when she was lying down as a little girl, she would put her head inside the tree trunk and look through the hole at the sky. And the one night, she saw a beam. So a disc and a beam. And as she blinked, the beam, it was gone. Then I thought, okay, all right. Now I'm very connected with other life forms, not just angelic. So then I thought, okay, this is not a coincidence. So I need to meditate by this tree. So I don't just go meditate by the tree. I wait until I'm told to. So the night that I was guided to go and sit and meditate by this tree, I started with my meditation and I give thanks to the elements. And I had my eyes closed and the flame of the candle was flickering. So I could see the flickering with my eyes closed. And then it started to thunder. And I thought to myself, I'm going to stay in this meditation because they told me to stay here. What happened next was almost out of this world. So I'm in the meditation and it started to rain. The rain touching my skin felt like electricity was surging through every single cell of my body. And I saw a beam with my eyes closed. There was a bright light that came and flashed away. When I got back into the house, I felt as though something had happened, not negatively, positively, to my human form. And I do believe that, these beings are alive and they have technology that is much more advanced than our technology. And they are trying to assist us with the frequencies of Earth, and they are trying to assist us with the frequencies of ourselves. Now, I believe that since that evening, they have been communicating with me with regards to everything that I have been doing. And I do believe I've been told that I will see them soon because this is again a relationship that you develop. It's not something that will just appear like your angels, like your spirit guides. It's that formation of a relationship and trust. So, Alex, I don't know if you have anything else to share because I have more and I don't want to hold the floor for too long. Or Marlene, do you have anything?
So I'm unfortunately not one of those people that have seen UFOs yet. I know of many people, well, not many people, several people. There's one lady in particular who actually sees them. And how she describes it is that they come into the earth dimension. They're always there. They're always there, the ships, but they only make themselves known once they feel safe to actually be seen by a being or several beings. And what she does is she takes photographs on time lapse, and then she somehow puts it all together so that there is almost evidential physical evidence to show people, because people actually don't believe it. But I think they are benevolent beings, and as anything, there is the light and the dark, if you may call them that, which is subjective because there is no light and dark and positive and negative. But they are certainly there to help us to up our frequency and our vibration and that of the planet so that we can ascend and move up in the realm quicker and quicker. And I believe that one's frequency as a being, is that what attracts that presence to you at the time that you most need it? Alex.
Yeah, and this is something that we actually talked about a little bit in our Fermi paradox episode, where like, all right, so if you have a civilization that's advanced enough to be able to travel across the universe or a galaxy, then you would have to assume that that civilization also has the awareness of its influence on a planet that it's just approaching. So for them to hide themselves, it makes a whole lot more sense, and to only reveal themselves to certain people that are like ready to see them, which is why I'm pretty excited about what I'm seeing online as far as the general population becoming more accepting of aliens existing. When we had Three Eye Atlas, that comet that was coming through, tons of hype around it, so much hype. Some people were saying it was like a party or like a cruise ship with all these different um, nations of aliens on it. Other people thought it was like a warship. I thought it was deploying little like invisible sentries as it swooped around. I was really hoping it was like a seed and it was going to go right behind our sun, right when we were on the other side, and it was going to crack open like the universe. It was all going to fold in and create this whole magnanimous new era, golden age. I was so excited for that, and I was like so sure it was going to happen. So I was pretty bummed out when it didn't. But then, like, when you think about it too, if aliens did make contact with us, the next step would be some kind of like galactic citizenship. And there was this, I don't know if you guys have Rick and Morty down there in South Africa, but there's this one episode where they get accepted into the Galactic Federation. And so like all these different aliens are coming to Earth, but they because their science and their medicine is so advanced, all the people just end up taking like pills, vitamins and nutrients, and that's all they're eating. They're getting assigned jobs, assigned tasks, and I was like, that would actually not be very cool. Because like like or like in Futurama where they just like flip you with your career, and just tell you what to do. So like I guess we have a little bit more freedom in that regard. And then I would consider there was this one time I was meditating and I literally thought I was being abducted. I felt conscious. I watched my body go from my bed up, like I was watching myself float and my body felt really, really weird. I went through the ceiling, through my upstairs neighbor's house, up through the roof, and I was like, oh my God. In my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting abducted. This is so cool. And then like I just gently came back and laid back down. I was like, no, what did I do? Did I mess this up somehow? What did I do? But like, and then I thought about it and I was like, okay, if I did get abducted, I'd probably be on a ship that may or may not be comfortable. Like I might not have any of my things and be like, okay, well, I guess my phone probably isn't going to work out there. So, and I'd be like, what about all my loved ones? Like, what do I tell people? I won't know if I'll be able to. So I don't know, like maybe if comment if you'd like to be abducted, if you think that would be a fun experience, or if you think it's scary and dangerous. I mean, I guess they used to have the those old stories of people that had been abducted and said they'd been probed and stuff, and I was like, I don't think I'd enjoy that. And Janae, let's hear what else you had to say.
I could just listen to you forever and ever and a day. So, with regards to what Marlene said as well, with them being of a frequency and us being of a frequency and us having to align for each other to either experience them or see them or meet them. And as she also stated with her friend, they are around. So essentially, if you think of it in the metaphysical, we are all living in different dimensions, different timelines, and they are living in a different frequency alongside us in a different universe, in a different planet, but we're all living concurrently with one another. When you can reach a level of consciousness that meets them, you are able to slide into the same timeline and see one another. And it doesn't always necessarily need to be in the physical. You can meet them in your astral travels. So in your dream state, it doesn't always necessarily have to be them coming to you in person. So I wanted to say, with regards to your comment on the AI Atlas, 3 Atlas, with regards to that, I do think that it was a decoy and a distraction for something much greater than we can imagine. And I think that we, as various civilizations, are going to live amongst one another when we all are of the same frequency. And as I say, that they are trying to assist our frequency as well as Mother Gaia's frequency, we are assisting them in various ways just as much. So it's a very equal energy exchange. It's not as though it's just them helping us, we're helping them just as much because of our frequencies that we are holding as a collective and as a planet. They need that for their living and being. And I do also believe so wholeheartedly in documentaries and in movies, in sci-fi. It's your imagination, right, that comes up with these stories. We each have an imagination, and our imagination is endless. And as children, we had imaginary friends. Those weren't imaginary friends. Those were real, because they were real beings in a different dimension, in a different timeline that we could see because our frequency was so high. Now, I do believe that those stories are individuals of such a high vibrational frequency that we're able to tap in to what it is actually like for those beings and what the accommodation may look like and what they may look like, what their clothes constitute of. So don't disregard everything that you watch, because there are always messages, hidden messages within them. And it's obviously with your own discernment how you receive them. And I think having conversations with like-minded individuals, a lot of answers will be revealed, because it's as you speak, you actually answer any questions that you have internally.
So I'd like to say, I mean, listening to you, Alex, I kind of get a little bit, FOMO, really. I would have loved to have an experience like that. Excuse me. But I also think about things like we're here on Earth and we have all of these nations of humanity, and we can't even get along with one another.
Mm.
And this is our frequency of, let's call them humans, on this planet. Now imagine if these beautiful beings that look different to us come and stand amongst us in that form. Can you imagine the chaos and like what is going to happen? Talk about dissension, talk about chaos. I mean, then I have to wonder how much our frequency and our vibrational fitment of the earth plane, not just humanity, has to adjust, because certainly we are not the only people. And I also believe that there are aliens on earth, in and amongst us. They just don't show themselves as what we think the aliens look like and what they actually do look like. But again, for that same reason. So I think we've still got some work to do on ourselves in terms of humanity, kind of accepting one another, loving one another, and just letting things be, and know that we're all different and that it's okay to be different, and that all we have to do is accept and love one another for being.
Absolutely. That's a good point too. If we're so unable to treat ourselves equally just for looking a little bit different. I mean, just a little bit different. Like your skin color is a little bit different, so I'm going to do such horrible things to you is just mind blowing. And then I guess there's also the possibility that, hey, maybe they're not the same size as us. Maybe they're really, really small and look like bugs. Because if you took a bug and blow it up, that's a creepy looking thing. It almost looks like a highly advanced armor, like a robot, right? Like if you took like a fly and just that thing's got crazy eyes, it's got like wings, and it's all like yeah, the carapace. Yeah, Janae.
Listen, you're going on about bugs. I swear, sometimes I think that they are in that form because I've had experiences where I have had, first of all, very abnormal looking bugs that I've never seen before, ever in my whole entire life. And they linger. And then I've had bugs that have stayed in my home and they kind of like pop up again and they're like, hey, and then they like stare at me. And then I don't see them for like a few hours and they're like, hey, I'm still here. And I feel like they're watching. And then there was a stage where I was actually talking to a praying mantis who was in my house for like 3 weeks. I eventually said to him, I was like, I don't know what you want and what you're watching and what you like finding out, but I see you. I see you. So no, you're so right. I think we also just misled sometimes. It's the programming that we've also been subdued to, and it's not our fault, but this remembrance that we are in the midst of quite naturally. I believe that everything will unfold and unravel as it's meant to for us to understand the truth, and it will be revealed to us in due course.
I fully agree. Yeah, and with the bug thing, there. I mean, so we're as humans, we're not even. Yeah, so like we're not able to work well with one another, and we're already at the point of making like nanobots that look like bugs. I guess Russia's making they're putting chips, computer chips on cockroaches, and they're like controlling them as spies. So I mean, yeah, I think it's a very possibility. If anyone out there has any experience with UFOs, drop it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.